This is the Digital Shelf Insider podcast of Metrics Card. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Digital Shelf Insider podcast of Metrics Card. I'm your host, Shrestha, and today we have Bindu Sharma joining us. She is the founder of World One Consulting. She is a retail expert and a professional with over 2 decades in this industry. And she started off her career as a retail buyer, and she's just gone ahead and scaled, grown so many iconic brands across categories and geographies. Bindu, a hearty welcome to the show.
Hi, Shrestha. Thank you so much. I am very excited about this opportunity, and it's great to connect with you and your audience. So let's get started.
Yes. So you started out as a retail buyer. How was it at that time? When was this and where was this? Tell us all about it.
It's a very interesting journey actually. I started my retail journey when online shopping wasn't even a term. I've been in the retail business for over 2 decades. When really shopping anywhere else other than a brick and mortar store really meant going through a catalog and picking up something, calling up the catalog company and saying, "Oh, I like this, page that. Can you ship it to me?" So that was quite, it was a very different world back then, but an interesting one. And move that forward to today. Back being a buyer was really more about gut feel than it was about algorithms and data. Data was on spreadsheets, and you had to read reams of them. You had to gather your insights from that data and go on to the next step, the next season's buying, and the season after that. But it was it was a great learning experience. And cut that to 2010, 2012, the landscape completely changed. Online shopping became the byline in India, and I was in fact one of the early adopters of that change. In 2012 started a fashion and a beauty blog, and that kind of just really, even to me, it was a surprise how quickly it became so popular. How people were reaching out to us and asking us for, what's the trend this season? What are the colors in trend? What's the best liner to buy? What's the best mascara to buy, and so on and so forth. And there was in those early days, customers were also, like I said, looking for solutions, and everything wasn't available at the click of your fingertip, right? It
Yes.
wasn't like, oh, I need looking for the best mascara, and then something would come up on
No.
it. It really was
Nothing at all.
engaging. So when whoever started a blog at that point of time was really engaging with the consumers, and we were doing that, and there were some great insights from there. Be it customers' needs, their likes, their dislikes, and we kind of from there we moved on to having a curated e-commerce platform for beauty and accessory, and from there also the learnings were amazing. Again, when people ask you questions versus when people were actually shopping, there were two very, very different things. Of course, since then, the landscape has changed immensely. Then came 2015, 2016, a deluge of homegrown indie brands came in. And then, of course, the big change happened when the pandemic happened, and people were forced to stay indoors and shop online. But it's been like an absolutely amazing journey. The data insights, the learnings from that are things that help me, launch a number of iconic, brands in categories, in home, in fashion, in accessories, and help them grow across both in India and cross-border e-commerce as well. And I'm happy to, say that as one of the first movers in the e-commerce business, we also, as a company, and both as as an individual and as a company, we're way ahead of reading trends and understanding, and then how would I say, and then actually using those trends in what we do in our everyday work.
Yeah. Sort of predicting and
Yes.
able to say about the future.
Yeah, I mean, and my background as a buyer has really helped me with that, because a buyer has an intuitive understanding
Definitely.
of buying the right product for the consumers that it is targeted at. So it's been a very interesting journey.
So inspiring. It's more like if the buyer doesn't know what the consumer wants, it's a it's a different scene at all.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've had a few pitfalls with that. Some things that I have been so sure of as a buyer, this is going to sell.
Yeah.
It's just some of those things that are like customers don't want it. I seem to think they wanted it, but they really didn't. They didn't really want it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so today we have that. Today we have the data, we have the insights, we know exactly where our ad dollars are going, who's clicking where. All of
Yeah.
that is like an amazing landscape.
Yeah.
But when I started my career, that wasn't the landscape. Trust me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like getting transported from one reality to another right now.
Yeah, it's kind of like you were on a this thing, horseback carriage, and now you're suddenly sitting in a Tesla, and you're like, okay, so
Yeah.
this is doing itself.
Definitely. So just like you said, the retail industry right now in India is so exciting. And at the core, the more interesting part is that back then, there were these non-essential items where people wouldn't look into. And right now, it's more like the younger generations want everything without guilt. So, and we're also seeing, just like you pointed out, a lot of homegrown brands coming up across categories, especially the ones that are focused so on the niche categories or solving specific shopper problems. So, and your main areas of operation are in health and beauty, fashion, wellness, home, and lifestyle. What trends do you see shaping these categories in India lately? There's a lot, I guess.
Yes.
The list is
A
long.
lot. I mean, we're going through the world is going through a digital transformation, but in India, even more so, right?
Yeah.
There are trends that are shaping industries across the globe, but having a larger impact here by the sheer volume of it and how we're really, moving forward. Like case in point, quick commerce. We didn't even know we needed it, right? But we apparently did. We needed 10-minute deliveries more than anywhere else in the world.
Yes.
So there are three or four key trends that are really shaping the industry here in India and across the world as well. Consumer preferences are changing, and they're not just changing here; they're changing everywhere. But even in India, if you see over the last almost 3 or 4 years, or let's say half a decade, there was a time when brands told you what they wanted to sell you.
Yeah.
Now consumers are telling you what they
Exactly.
want to buy, right?
Yeah.
That's the big shift. So the consumer preferences are changing. They want the brands they buy to be authentic. They want them to be transparent. They want them to be sustainable. They want them to they want the brands to give them personalized experiences.
Right.
So whether it's a travel company, everybody likes to travel, but
Yeah.
a personalized experience just changes the whole narrative
Right.
for both the consumer and the company who's trying to sell it. So that's one of the big things that's really happening. Of course, everything is available at, they're very tech savvy. The customer today, whether in a tier 1 city or a tier 4 city, is very tech savvy. Before they buy anything, they look at, they pull out their phones, their smartphones, and say, okay, I want to buy this. Let me see what the options are. And so they were making very informed choices, very, very informed choices. Second, I think, is innovation in technology. Words like AI or other terms like AI, AR, VR, 3D, active ingredient, you name it, and they're being thrown at consumers. They're being thrown at both brands and consumers, right? Each brand tries to, okay, what's the next big ingredient of the season? What's the big fashion color of the season? All of those things are happening. Even homes today.
Yeah.
Customers no longer buy furniture for the rest of their lives. They buy furniture for that
To see.
particular,
Yeah.
to that particular time
Yeah.
at space.
Yeah.
So the things that are happening is like these are no longer terms that we watch in or hear in sci-fi movies.
Yeah.
These are becoming mainstream. So that's the second thing I think that is shaping the industry the way towards where it's going. Then there is a rise of homegrown indie brands.
Oh, yes.
It's across categories,
Yeah.
right? It's not just, yes, beauty and wellness has a large share of it, but so is fashion. We have so many homegrown brands in fashion today that people are actually going out and buying from. It isn't
Right.
just, oh, I saw it on Instagram. Yeah, I've seen this brand. No, I actually see people on the streets now wear brands that I see on Instagram or on YouTube
Exactly.
or wherever I see it on social media platforms. So that's happening. So, all of these being innovation, technology, whether it's fabric or whether it's an ingredient, it's becoming mainstream. People are looking for specific products, specific terms, specific how should I put this? Uh, like I say,
Aesthetic.
technology. Yeah, aesthetic exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the next big thing. So and the rise of homegrown brands, indie brands, is actually challenging the bigger brands, the legacy.
Definitely.
Okay, so into all these mergers and acquisitions we see across industries, and from being very small players in the market to becoming players large enough for the big guys to notice.
Right.
That actually has, not today when somebody is starting a brand, they just don't want to start a small brand. They want to start a brand with global ambition.
Definitely. Yeah.
So that's the second thing. So we're building in India, but we're looking to build for the world.
Exactly.
That's one of the things that has changed. Or rather, that's impacting or shaping the industries,
Yeah.
the categories here. So we then have, of course, the global influencer and cross-cultural trends. They're coming fast and how.
Yeah.
So thanks to social media, you could be seeing something on your phone that's happening in New York or Seoul, and you could be seeing the exact same thing on the streets of New Delhi and Mumbai in less than 24
Exactly.
hours. It's a
It's that
very
fast.
yeah, it's very, very interconnected world. So I think what's happening is the trends that would come to us 6 months later, from 2 years it became a year to 6 months, they're with us in 24 hours today.
Yeah.
So an interconnected world is really shaping things over here as well.
So interesting. I have a question to ask about homegrown brands. So, do you see this pattern that homegrown brands, they kind of specialize in a small niche, specific trend or problem solving, and then, kind of diversify, scale, and grow to other categories slowly. And that's one of their success mantra, maybe, because with the legacy brands, what we see is they kind of have this generic amount SKUs in their lineup. So, is that a reason why, consumers are able to kind of get hold of smaller brands much better than the legacy brands right now?
I think where new age brands, so to speak, are concerned, Shrisha, what's happening is this agility is very key in
Yeah.
today's day. Bigger legacy brands have a lot of history, right?
Right.
So for them to change and for the consumer to understand that they're changing,
Yes.
is
It's going to
it's
take some
not so,
time.
yeah, it takes some time. Whereas a new age brand, you see some brand today on Instagram or wherever, or if you're walking into a brick and mortar store, you're like, oh, there's a new brand. Oh, it does this. So it's easier for that quick, fast sentiment to shift than it
Exactly.
is for a legacy brand. Ponds comes out with something, or L'Oreal comes out with something that a new age brand is doing, and you're thinking, oh, really? Did they have this before? Did they not?
Exactly. Yeah.
So agility and the speed at which they can innovate,
Innovate. Yeah.
that's really, really key as well.
So true. The other question I had is about Amazon. Now, when it comes to online marketplaces, Amazon is definitely one of the most shopped platforms in India when compared to Meesho, Flipkart, and the rest. So, do you think the SKUs of health and beauty brands that are present on Amazon here in India, it can be better than how it is supposed to be? Because when I speak to guests from the US, they do mention that the beauty category is doing really well on Amazon there. So, what is the difference? Why do you think, beauty brands don't invest much in Amazon?
It's a very good question, but having said that, I don't think it's the case that beauty brands don't choose Amazon as a seller here in India.
Yeah.
I think the big difference we first have to understand is that Amazon's the retail king in the
Yes.
US, right? That's
Yes.
that's the first and probably sometimes the only place that you think of to go and shop online.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas in India, that's not the case, where we've got lots to choose from. Amazon is one of the key players, but we also have a lot of homegrown players, Flipkart, Tata Click, Ajio, Myntra, Nykaa, you name it, each. And some of them are actually very big in their own category. So say if you wanted to buy fashion, you choose Myntra
Yeah.
to go shop online. You wanted to buy beauty, you have Nykaa, now you also have Tira, right?
Right.
So the choices are a lot there. But having said that, where beauty category is concerned, maybe not so much as fashion, but where beauty category is concerned, Amazon India is still a fairly, a go-to platform for both consumers and brands. So if you were to launch a brand today, or if you're already a brand, you can't ignore
Right.
Amazon. There is no way that you can. Yes, the the variety probably is not as much as it is in the US. But where India is concerned, they pretty much every brand that matters is on Amazon. Where beauty is concerned, fashion maybe not, but it's because we have a choice. Unlike the American consumer, we have a lot of choices, and in India, it's all about a lot of choices. We also like a good deal.
Yes.
We're bargain hunters.
Yes.
We're bargain hunters. We're cashback, heroes. You name it.
Definitely.
We're all of that, right?
Yeah.
So we will search the entire internet to find the best deal, to find the best, to find the best of everything. Is what I'm saying. So yeah, I would say maybe Amazon India team I know is working very very hard on the fashion category as well. Let's
Yeah.
see what happens in the future.
Yes. And we cannot close this episode without talking about quick commerce. You already mentioned
True.
it's on fire in India, right?
We didn't, like I said, we didn't know we needed a 10-minute delivery, but apparently we did. And it hasn't just surprised us, it surprised the companies as well. Like how fast it's grown. I mean, they can't stop talking about it on any social media platform. LinkedIn, they're talking about how much we've done, how much this one has done, Zepto Cafe has done, Blinkit XYZ has done, or, 10-minute Flipkart 10 minutes has done, and so on and so forth. And these companies are collecting data at a speed that I don't even think we knew it existed in e-commerce.
Exactly. Yeah.
And of course, beauty and wellness right now is not a huge category,
Yeah.
but it's growing really fast. If you see, both Blinkit and Zepto have a lot of the brands, both legacy as well as new age brands, from L'Oreal to Pond's to Nivea to Mamaearth, Sugar, Minimalist, Plum, you name it.
All of
Uh,
it.
every brand is there, yeah. But they do have it in a low involvement category at this point of time, probably a larger variety in a low involvement category like bath and body,
Yeah.
nail paints probably, and things like that. But as we go, and I'm saying we don't even have to wait months, it's probably just weeks away. We'll see a very wide variety of products across both beauty and wellness, high involvement from face to what should I be eating, which protein powder I should be buying. And I think brands are also doing a lot of work at their end to
Right.
educate the consumer. Zepto and Blinkit are really about, okay, I need this in 10 minutes, but I must know about the brand before, right?
Exactly.
We probably will move from, I already know the brand, then I want to shop it on Blinkit, on Blinkit to Zepto, to them telling you these are the brands, shop over here. Shop them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
So
gonna be quick and cool.
it's actually a retail revolution. There are no two ways about it in terms of how we shopped to how a year ago to how we're shopping today.
Definitely. So the quick commerce model is all about cost, category, and convenience. Most of these models work on that. So, why do you think it's working well in India when compared to US and UK?
The first thing obviously is because it's, we do have cheap labor. So we're able to deliver, even though the cost is there, the cost to these companies is there, and they're burning a lot of cash, and there's a lot of conversation happening online about who's burning how much and who
Yes.
how much.
A lot.
But I think it really is about cost. At the end of the day, it's cheaper to hire someone to deliver goods to consumers at this point of time. As the industry, matures, let's see what happens. We have no idea right now. We can only sit and watch and say, okay, this might happen, that might happen. It's not a
Yeah.
long-term game. It's a short-term game. We don't know as yet.
Very
But
true.
yeah, the consumer is definitely loving it.
Oh, yes. We've almost come to the end of the session, and I have this question for you. Like, what is that one piece of advice you would love to give to new age brands who are, kind of digitally establishing themselves? Whether it's quick commerce, e-commerce, the presence is what matters for brands right now. So,
Yeah, we always talk about product market fit, the moat.
Mhm.
There are a whole host of terms I could be using. And we also say we have a large pie and everybody can have a slice of it, right?
Yeah.
Um, it isn't, even in the Western world, it isn't that, there has come a time when no more brands are needed in any category or will not be launching. And
Mhm.
that will stay true at all times.
Yeah.
While there was a Lululemon, Alo Yoga still came in. While there was an X, a Z still came in, and so on and so forth. Um, so I think what brands who or people who are launching new brands have to remember, there are two things that are really going to shape the future of retail, online retail, offline retail, both. One is to understand and engage with your consumer. At the end of the day, like I said, the time that the brands tell you what to buy versus consumers will tell you what they want to buy as well.
Right. Yeah.
So their need really has to be kept in mind as to whatever product category that you're launching. And second is agility.
Yeah.
Whether it's innovating in terms of ingredients, innovating in terms of fabrics, anything. You need to be able to do things quickly.
Exactly.
Nobody has a time. Abhi 2 saal baad hum ye nikalenge. After 1 year we'll do this. That's not going to happen. You will need brands will need to continue to be more agile, be more adaptive. That's pretty much.
So true. Thank you so much, Bindu, for joining us. It was such a nice chat with you, and I hope to see you soon.
Likewise, Shrita, I really enjoyed our chat. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for the opportunity. And we'll reconnect soon. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We've come to the end of the episode. If you loved what you just listened to, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We'll be back next Monday with a really awesome guest. Stay tuned until then.